Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, welcome to our Picks of the Week video for November 18th. Hope everyone's had a fabulous day. I'm Cody, aka the Mutant Menace, joined by
Kevin, aka Kevbozilla, and
Atron. Atron. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try being Atron. Test it out. Test it out. See how it feels.
embrace it.
That's right.
Yeah. So we
All
are the
right.
Cape and Cowl crew, and this is our little show where we like to talk about our picks of the week and elaborate on why we chose them.
And we're gonna try to stick to a nice tight little 30 minutes for you guys. Make it easy for you to watch this and not have to sit down for too long. If you have any questions about what we talk about or want to buy something, you can go to our website and do so, or send us an email, or call us tomorrow. We'll be here to talk.
All right.
Do you wanna start, Cody?
Sure, I will begin. One of
Okay.
my picks this week is Something is Killing the Children. This is issue number 12. James Tynion, Werther Dell'Edera, same team we've had the whole time, which is great. This issue was one of my favorite things that came out this week because I mentioned on a previous show that this comic is a little bit of a slow burn. It gives you little pieces of information at a time, just enough to keep you interested. And this issue is like a huge payoff issue. There are several revelations in here that got me so stoked. James Tynion has been a master of building this tension, and we're going to start seeing some real payoffs. And this issue picks up a little bit after where the last one picked up, which, if you remember, our heroes were in quite a dangerous position. And in this one, Erica Slaughter's nursing her wounds. Our heroes are kind of down and out. Things aren't looking great for them. And we make some revelations as to where the monsters came from in this issue. So this is going to be a pivotal one to get your hands on. Really, really cool. It has to do with a lot of the imagination of the town and where that's kind of going. And so we get a glimpse into how it started. And we also see the white team, or like the white, what do they call them? The white dragons, or when she's looking for the black team or white team. I don't know, but we see we see like the other squad come into the town. They close off the exits leading into the town. And it's one of those great situations in like a horror story where we're very used to the danger of the monsters, and now we're surrounded by danger from these other people that are coming in and are essentially here to clean house and clean up after Erica's, what they see as her mistakes. So we're kind of like cornered by not only the monsters, but something that's potentially even more dangerous. And so it's really ratcheting up the tension to the highest it's been in this whole series.
Nice.
I might even say too that if you haven't been reading, there's trades that you can catch up with. This issue, it explains enough that you could almost start on this issue, though you would be doing yourself a serious disservice. But if you're just looking for something tight to read, it is a great, great issue. So don't miss out because you're scared.
Cool.
All right. You want to go next, Dayton?
Oh no, after you, Kevin. I want to hear what you have to
thanks.
talk about.
Looks like we're doing the old clockwise routine this week. All right. So my pick of the week, speaking of payoffs, was the Amazing Spider-Man, part of this Last Remains series story that's been going on, where Spider-Man is finally having to confront Kindred, which is this evil, like, demon specter or something or other that's been haunting his dreams since issue number 1. That's 52 issues ago. Finally getting the confrontation between him and Kindred. You find out a little information about who Kindred is. If you guys haven't seen him, he's fucking scary. He's got all sorts of like centipede appendages and like got some creepy bugs. You've got Spider-Man on one side, you got the creepy centipede man on the other. But you find out a lot about what his machinations are and why he's been bugging Parker for 50 issues. So I won't say much more because I don't want to spoil it. If you're reading this Last Remain series, it's coming hard and fast. It's hard to keep up with, but it's worth it. So if you're a Spider-Man fan, you've been aching for some action, you felt like maybe the stuff that's coming before hasn't been super action-packed, it's finally getting to a point where you're getting some real good punch 'em out slugfests with Ryan Otley on art. And this issue is Bagley. They've been switching it up, but it's amazing. I mean, last week was a Spencer issue or a Otley issue, and you get to see Spider-Man just punch Kindred in the mouth. So yeah, check it out.
Sweet. Okay, my number one top pick of the week was Rorschach #2 from DC Comics, written by Tom King with art by Jorge Fornes.
Sure.
Sure. I am a big Tom King fan. I love Mr. Miracle. I love his sad crybaby Batman that he did for 5 years. I love Omega Man, and I'm really enjoying Strange Adventures. All that said, this and I think for him the high watermark is definitely Mr. Miracle for me. And this single issue, Rorschach #2, is the best thing I've read Tom King write since Mr. Miracle. This is so damn good. So in issue 1, this is 30 years after the original Watchmen. I think Tom King confirmed it. It's actually set in the same kind of universe as the TV show. So saying some of those characters exist in here. That kind of timeline I think is carrying into here, though it's not like super obvious. It's not doing a bunch of callbacks to the show. But in the first issue, this new Rorschach shows up, and he's got a partner, this young woman dressed like a cowgirl, and they attempt to assassinate the president-elect of this version of the United States. They get unmasked. I don't want to spoil what happens, but they get unmasked at the end of the first issue, and this issue digs into the backstory of the man under the Rorschach mask, and he happens to be a old comic book artist. He's the guy. I'm assuming it's the guy who wrote and drew the pirate comics that are the backstory of the original Watchmen. So he's that creator. You just get 20 plus pages of his story, and it's so fucking good. It blew me away. I'm probably gonna have to read it again. So check this out. We still have plenty of issue 1, plenty of issue 2. Get on board. It's a 12-issue series. Good stuff.
Are there a couple artists on that book, like that issue anyway? Or is it just the one main artist?
I think it's just the one main artist who does vary his style. Like the timeline that we're in, where we're getting this guy's story, there's a detective kind of trying to piece together what happened, is all one art. He uses some nice tricks to kind of make the time feel different, and then there's also the art of the comic book, which you get a few pages of. It's very Steve Ditko political vibes. Have you read his post superhero stuff where he got all his kind of intense political ideas out? It kind of reads like that.
Objectivism.
Yeah. That's what I was looking for. You want to do your next book, Cody?
Oh, Kevin's trying to say something.
Oh, I was going to say, so that's pronounced Rorschach?
That's Rorschach. Rorschach #2.
Rorschach. Yeah. So my next book is this little ditty. This is called Marvel Snapshots Avengers. For anyone who doesn't know, Marvel's been putting out these snapshot issues that are essentially one-off stories, usually literally a snapshot of a select character's history. It gives creators kind of a free reign to play with any piece of hero's continuity. We've seen a Namor issue. We've seen Cyclops. I think we saw a Spider-Man one. I think that one came out. Can't remember. But basically, yeah. So it's basically pieces of Marvel characters' lives. This one is particularly awesome to me because it says Marvel Snapshots Avengers, but what this really is, it's more like a snapshot of New Yorkers trying to live their lives in the midst of what all the Marvel chaos that goes on. So think like Marvels, but more whimsical and hilarious. This issue totally caught me off guard with how funny it is. It essentially stars this woman, Carrie, who's crashing in New York. She's trying to make it, but she's not doing too well. So she's crashing out at a friend's apartment. She's kind of couch surfing a little bit. She knows a bunch of people in town. And then New York, of course, is attacked by a giant robot, which happens all the time. The plot of this book is essentially a bunch of New Yorkers hunker down in this safety bunker as this giant robot's attacking. They know that the Avengers are on the case, and they're just trying to wait it out, stay safe. A couple people are injured. Carrie's happens to be a nurse, so she's taking care of this guy. And to kill time, they start sharing stories about New York being attacked and the Avengers coming to help people in New York. And it leads to really funny, like, reminiscing. She starts talking about how she bumped into Wonder Man one time when she was walking by the mansion. And the guy's like, "Did you get his number?" And she's like, "No, but Beast was there. And he's like really cute and really furry. And he actually smells better than you think." Like, it's a bunch of like funny little, like, funny, hilarious things of Marvel characters that you don't think about. Because you so often don't think about, like, what would it be like to live just in the midst of all this madness. One of the funniest parts is she's like, "I was here." She's talking to a policeman and she's like, "I was here the day that Count Nefaria attacked. That was a crazy day." And the cop is like, "No way. That was my first day on the job." And she's like, "Really? The Nefaria incident?" And he's like, "Yeah." And they start bonding over that. And she's like, "I remember the one thing about that incident is everyone was complaining. Nobody was talking about how amazing the Avengers looked in action. The New Yorkers were just complaining because they couldn't catch the train on time. They were mad that the subway wasn't working. They're mad that the sidewalks are closed." And I thought that was really funny, like a look into city life where if Marvel was real and these New Yorkers being like, "I don't care, like I just can't catch my train because Iron Man's fighting somebody down the road. It's so annoying." And it's just full of like an attitude like that. And it was so much fun. It completely caught me off guard. The Avengers honestly aren't even the focus. Like I said, it's about the people. And I love stories like that. I love where we get to spend time with just like, the average Joes in the midst of gods. So it's actually like so funny. And I recommend this one for sure.
Yeah, I want to read all those snapshots when they put them all together in a book. I'm sure it'll be awesome to check out.
Yeah, they've actually been great. This one, like, the art wasn't like the best. Some of the art on these though has been stellar. The Cyclops one is incredible. It really floored me. Such a perfect love letter to Cyclops. The Namor one has excellent art too. It's like a flashback to Golden Age adventure he had, where he's like on a date, and it actually it spoke a lot about PTSD. The whole thing was like her brother fought in the war and Namor's connection with the war. It was really actually really poignant. Yeah, I feel like Marvel snapshots are being overlooked, but they're really great, and I think there's going to be a collection of them out too. So it's really cool.
You can, if you guys want to check out some of the previous ones Cody mentioned, if you go to our website, it should, whatever shows there is available should be something we have in stock. So feel free to go nuts. If we can't find it, we'll let you know. All right, my turn. So have you guys both been keeping up with Once and Future?
So far behind. I've read the first volume.
The story's always been super. Yeah, the story's always been super fun. I mean, it's been kind of fun in the sense that like there are all these greater stories that exist that are sort of driving the narrative, and these players or these main characters in the book are taking advantage of those stories in order to manipulate the outcome. So, for example, the main character of the book at this point is playing roles of both Beowulf from the classic Beowulf story and Percival from the Arthurian legend. So, in this issue, I finally feel like the story isn't just like referencing those things. I feel like the greater tales are actually starting to drive the story a bit. Like they just are looking for a place to look for clues, and of course, the Lancelot Arms pops up. Of course, they're going to go to the Lancelot Arms. It fits with what's going on. So they go there and they get to fight a bunch of Nazis. I've just been loving this book. There's nothing like really specific to point to that made this my favorite issue of the week, but I've just been really, really enjoying the story. We do have a couple of volumes that you can catch up with, and a lot of back issues, but it's top-notch storytelling. I really hope they do something in the TV or movie space with this, because it is just so ripe with stuff for them to pick from. I don't know. You guys, since you're a little behind, how far did you get? You read the first volume, Eitan?
Yeah, I think the first 6 issues. And then I think I decided to wait for the second volume, which just came out. So I just got to read it in one go.
There's nothing wrong with reading the trades, man. Yeah, trades are great. I want to show you guys the opening of this. It's like it was one of the cooler beginnings of the issues that I read last night. It starts with the grandma just like chilling out on her porch having a smoke, and then a magpie shows up, and she says, "All right, so that's how you're playing it," and all these other magpies start showing up. And she recites a rhyme: one for sorrow, two for joy, three for a girl, four for a boy, five for silver, six for gold. Or if you prefer the other version, one for sorry, two for mirth, three for a funeral, four for a birth, five for heaven, six for hell. And of course, the version that they're going with is hell. So she just pulls out a revolver and blows away as many birds as she needs to get to the rhyme to work for her. So she like blows them away until there's two that are left, and the two are for mirth. So she's like, "All right, cool. That's pretty hilarious." The birds ain't having none of that. One of the birds rips the other bird's throat out so they get back to sad. It's just like it's brutal, man. It's so fucking cool. It was like the coolest intro. Like I felt like that would have been like the intro to some like Indiana Jones movie or something. Just top-notch storytelling.
Awesome. You're making me want to read that trade like in time for the next book club or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean those opening 3 pages, I was like, all right, I'm gonna spend my time reading this one. I was picking stuff, and that was the one that floated to the top.
Nice.
All right,
okay.
You're up, Atron.
I'm ready. Hello?
Are you talking? Okay,
Hello?
we can hear you now.
Hello? My wife just tried to call me on my phone that I'm using for this. I said, no, I'm trying to talk. Damn it, Melody. I'm trying to talk about Marvel Voices, Indigenous Voices #1, Melody.
Look at that cover.
Isn't this gorgeous? This cover is
So
by
good.
Jeffrey Vereggi, who is an Indigenous artist who's done a bunch of Marvel. He's done a bunch of Marvel covers recently. This is the opening page featuring his version of the Watcher.
I am obsessed with that.
It's absolutely unreal. I mean, listen, this is a $5 comic book, and I am telling you that $5 is worth it for the cover and the first 3 pages. Cover here by Jeffrey Vereggi. Then you get his Watcher page, and then you get this double page spread of I don't know if it's my box of screws that I'm using to hold up my phone. There we go. It's just a bunch of prominent Indigenous characters in the Marvel universe. You get just like a little sentence, maybe 2 about each one. And it's just drop dead gorgeous. I immediately, as I was reading this, no, actually before I read this, I hopped online to find out how to get his prints or his art in my life on a permanent basis. And I think we're going to have 2 Jeffrey Vereggi prints in the new expanded space. So keep an eye out for cool art. But the book itself is 3 short stories. It's all Indigenous creators, and it focuses on 3 different Indigenous characters. The first one is an Echo story. The character from Daredevil, this lady here. The second one is Mirage from the X-Men, and the last one is Silver Fox. And they're just good quality short stories. I don't know. I mean, this is I loved it. I want more like this. I really want more Jeffrey Vereggi on everything, but I want more stories like this. So really can't recommend this enough. There are other covers. This was my favorite. But there's like 4 other covers that are all equally beautiful, or 5 covers. And yes, you should read it.
These
Yeah.
covers are going to make that artist blow up. I went and checked out his Instagram last night, and he has like not that many followers for what you'd expect based on the quality of this stuff. So I think that it's just going to get bigger and bigger, and this dude's going to turn into a freaking another Momoko or something.
I hope so. I mean, yeah, I think it's well deserved. And everybody has to buy this and read this because I hung up on my wife twice to tell you about it. So I'm
Wow.
probably in deep shit. So please
Dang.
make it worth it.
Yeah, and something about Vareggi too that's so notable is such a design sensibility goes into all of that. Like he does that traditional indigenous style, but there's such an eye for design that he does. I mean, certain patterns and like the geometry of it is super impressive. And I want to add, if you're an X-Men fan, you like New Mutants, you have to read this. The Danny Moonstar story is great. I unfortunately don't have it in front of me, but the person who wrote the Danny story is one of the few people that remember what the hell her powers are. Like, I hate when writers are just like, I don't know, Danny shoots arrows. No, she manifests people's fears. She makes them real to them in their psyche. That's what she does. And so many people are like, oh, I don't know, she shoots arrows. And so like
She's
this was like
psychic.
huge for me. Yeah, it's just like so annoying. So he got her powers right. There's also like her relationship with Rain Sinclair, aka Wolfsbane, is in this story, and they're totally like gay for each other. Like that's pretty much canon, and like that's even in there. Like their close relationship. It's like only so many pages, but it took Danny Moonstar where I've wanted her to be for so long because she's such a badass character, and she needs a lot more spotlight.
The writer on that one was Darcy Little Badger.
Darcy Little Badger.
Yeah, so maybe
Dude, what a
maybe
cool
get
fucking
more.
name.
Yeah.
That's rad. I feel like that's one of the things that I get asked for randomly by people more than a lot of other stuff is, do you have any Native American comics or any Native American creators or Native American characters? And it's nice to have someone to point to that's not just like, read this hella depressing scalped book. Even though it's amazing. I
Written
just
by a
feel
white
like we need more representation in the mutant world, you know?
guy. All right.
Oh,
What's
is it
your
me?
last one, Cody?
Okay, yeah. So my last one is Stillwater. This is issue number 3, and this issue of Stillwater gave me what I've wanted from Stillwater, and I'm so glad because the first 2 issues I really like. I'm really excited about this series, but the first 2 issues felt like a whole lot of like shock to me. It was like throwing things at you to shock you and hook you, and like that's great. But I was kind of just like, I want to get into the juice. I want to get into the meat and potatoes of this. So for people who don't remember or aren't familiar, Stillwater is a spooky town that's very picturesque, very like Pleasantville. And the thing is here is that they can't die. They're essentially immortal. When they die, they come back to life. When they're mortally wounded, they heal up, are regenerated, and everything is like too perfect and too pretty, and they've gotten so used to this. But issue 3 is my pick of the week for the reason that it gets into, like, I want to say that the inner workings of how this happens, the repercussions of how this happens, what it means that this town is able to do this, which is really what I've been eager to get to. And I love that. I love that we're on issue 3 and we're doing it. There's a lot of things that happen in this issue that like are full of potential. Like this book is like oozing storytelling potential from what you learn in here. You find out things like it's not limited to people, like plant matter, organic matter also regenerates in this town. There's a shocking part that like I'm just going to tell you because like it'll give you an idea, and it's not like a huge plot spoiler, but I'm going to tell you what's, because I totally got a chill down my spine. They're talking about like the cattle, and he's like, yeah, you know, our main character whose friend was killed here in the first issue, he's decided to kind of like stick around because this whole plot is that his mom is here and what is his connection to this town. So our main character is talking to the doctor in this town to get some answers, and the doctor's kind of tiptoeing around things because the doctor doesn't want to reveal too much. And the doctor's talking about the cattle and the livestock, and he's like, yeah, sometimes we outsource our meat and we go to another town, but we don't really like to do that, so we try to eat some of our cows here. And he like basically explains that they just carve the meat out of the living cows and the cows just regenerate it just like the humans do. And the doctor's just like, could you imagine, he's like, could you imagine having your flesh and your intestines constantly cut open, carved, and removed over and over and over again. And you're like, oh my God, like dark shit is happening in this town. And that's just a small piece of it. I mean, we get into the nitty gritty when it like from death day certificates to what this means for, you know, how a town would function if they can't die. It's just so dark and so interesting. And this issue just really gave me what I wanted. Now I hear the clicking. What is that sound?
Yeah.
Is that me?
I think so.
It's like popping and crackling.
Yeah.
That's so
Oh yeah, I
weird.
hear it too. Silence your mic and let me see if it goes away.
Oh, it's happening to you now too, Kevin.
It did not. It did not. It might be a network issue or something. Well, that's crappy. Hey guys, don't worry. It's almost over. All right, I'll do mine real quick. It's easy. Yeah, it's happening for everybody, it seems like. Sorry, guys. Those of you listening, appreciate you sticking with us. My pick of the week, my last pick of the week, I actually put it down. I don't have the cover, but it was the new Venom issue. Oh, this is pretty bad. How about we call it, guys? This was awesome.
Okay.
I thought somebody was playing with a candy wrapper. I was like, what is that?
No.
It sounds like somebody's eating.
I don't know. Thanks for hanging with us while we try to figure out this mystery, everyone.
I think we got to call it.
I don't know. I'll just say read Venom 30. It's the emotional catharsis. Okay. All right.
Buy comics. Read comics.